first thing I wanted to bring up today is self-evaluating. I don't mean to change the lexicon of how we do our own meetings here, but I feel like when I was actually looking up Jennifer's prior speech for this project. This is one of those projects where you have a first speech and you incorporate feedback. I couldn't find your original speech on YouTube channel, but I did find an evaluation of myself where I'm doing exactly what I said I wasn't going to do, where my hands are like at this 90 angle the entire time. So this is my opportunity to improve on myself, which is the exact same thing of Jennifer's speech. She started off with this word about crossroads. Have we all been at these crossroads? And I love this as a hook. This is a great way. Every speech needs to have a good hook, get the audience reeled in, and then of course a good closure at the end. And of course you got to have a good middle in the middle. And I'm going to talk about anatomy of speech in just a minute. I thought Jennifer also had some great gestures when she did the woohoo. Cool. It does. And another thing that I was looking for was the use of crutch words. And if anyone caught a crutch word, please spank me later. But I did not get any crutch words. So good job, Jennifer. The one thing that I would like Jennifer to improve on would be the use of notes. And this was something that was brought up in the first speech. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the anatomy of a speech and how we can all improve on not using notes. I wish I could have done it today, but I had too much to memorize here. So as I mentioned before, you have an introduction and you have a conclusion, and then you have the body of your speech in between. The introduction and the conclusion are very important to nail because that's what the audience is going to remember the most. The body of the speech, though, is comprised of various little segments, little stories, a vignette, whatever, however you're structuring your speech, that's what you want to focus on. But you don't have to memorize that whole thing. Try to remember a key word. That key word will then help you fulfill the rest of that story. The other thing that you have to remember is once you're finished with that little section of that story or the section of that speech, you have to remember the transition. So remember those keywords in succession. Sometimes a mnemonic device might work, or just eventually memorizing it might help. So those are some tips for how you can eliminate the use of notes when you're speaking. That being said, it's still okay to use notes. I have my notes up here. It's quite all right. Again, great job on no use of ums or ahs. I didn't catch a single thing. I love the structure of the speech. I love the message. It was a great speech overall, and I really appreciate you trying to incorporate